Hey everybody, MovieFanZ here. So for this video, I'm going to give you the best movies that I saw in 2024, along with some honorable mentions. So, as previously stated in my worst video, I saw about 37 to 38 movies in 2024, and these were the 10 best movies that I saw in that year. But as always, let's start with some honorable mentions. We have Deadpool and Wolverine, Red 1, Smile 2, which, side note, was one of the biggest surprises of the year, Hitman, and Furiosa. But as always, let's start with number 10. And number 10 is also another surprise for me, and that is Megan Thee Stallion, in her words, on Amazon Prime. So, to me, I had known of Megan Thee Stallion, but I didn't know anything about her. I just knew of her music. And to me, this was kind of, in a way, a breath of fresh air. It gave me more perspective about her and just her life and what she has had to go through. And this is going to be the same with other documentaries on here. Is I always like the interview style. I've seen documentaries where it's just narration and it doesn't give you any emotion. With interview style, it lets these people tell their story or they're part of a incident, and you get to kind of be with them in that moment. And you get to see their emotion. And another documentary, actually, this time on Disney Plus, is number 9 is Fly, which is about base jumping. And 3 separate couples and what they have gone through with base jumping. But to me, I thought it was fascinating. Even though this is an activity I will fully admit I will never do. I have wanted to go wing walking and bungee jumping, and I've been skydiving, but base jumping is not a thing for me. But it was kind of cool to see these stories. And along with that, you get a lot of aerial and point of view video, and it's just breathtaking. On to number 8, we have Twisters. And I think one of the strongest parts of this movie were the performances from Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell. But along with that, I think you have a good story and a good score and really good visual effects, and it brought the intensity. Next, number 7. This is a movie that I've had discussions with people about who don't understand how I have this in my top 10. But that is Argyle. To me, it's ridiculous. But I loved every minute of it. I thought you'd get good performances from Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell, along with some other supporting performances. But it has some fun action with multiple twists and turns. And overall, it's entertaining. And that's kind of sometimes why I go to the movies, is just to be entertained. Number 6 is Bad Boys Ride or Die, the 4th movie in the Bad Boys franchise. And ultimately, it has an amazing score, but it had everything that I wanted in a movie. It had action, it had comedy, it had intensity, and it had drama. And that's all I wanted in a movie, especially like this. So that's why it's ranked so high for me. Number 5 is, I believe, the last movie that I saw from 2024. If not the last, then one of the last few. And that is Carry On Netflix with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. And I think those two give great performances. But along with that, it's thrilling. And you're on the edge of your seat because you don't know where it's going. Now we get into the top 4 with number 4, which is Saturday Night. So with Saturday Night, this is an interesting movie because I'm not a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. I watch some of like the game show segments, but I've never been a person to watch the whole thing. And to go back to the beginning, and this basically tells the story of the 90 minutes before the first ever show. But you're along for the ride. And especially with great performances from Gabriel LaBelle as Lorne Michaels and Corey and Michael Smith as Chevy Chase. I think those two are the standouts. And it's an engaging story. Okay, top 3 now. Transformers 1 is my number 3 movie. And to me, the biggest thing I like about this is the lore that it gives the fans. Like, this is the movie, the prequel that people wanted. Because it explains multiple characters that you meet later on, and just different concepts and places and all of that. I thought it had a good story. I thought it had some good action. And it has a really good score. Number 2 is Wicked. So I had seen the movie, the musical, but it had been so long. But I at least knew of the story. And as this is only part 1, I was excited to get back into this world. And I think just so many things work in this movie. I think the songs are really good. I think the performances. But I also think like the production design and the costumes and just the story in general. It just all works in this movie. And finally, number 1 is a documentary on Netflix with The Greatest Night in Pop. So this basically tells the behind-the-scenes story of the We Are the World music video. And this is another one where it's completely interview style. And you get to interview some of the artists like Lionel Richie, but you also get to interview some of the crew, like some of the cameramen or the people setting up just the different aspects. So it's kind of cool to get to hear their perspective of it as well. But along with that, you get to hear all of the struggles that happened of having to record it in one night and not getting certain artists and having to replace them. But also, with that, you, like I said, you are with them the entire time. And it's kind of cool to see how this thing came together. The only small negative I have, but it doesn't have to do with the movie in general, is that I wish Michael Jackson was around to get his perspective on this event. Because it would have been cool to have him interviewed and what he thought of the process. And what's funny is this is a movie I saw in January of last year, and there was no movie to ever top it from my number one spot. But as always, let's go over and review my top 10. At number 10, we have the documentary Megan Thee Stallion in Her Words on Amazon Prime. At number 9, we have the documentary Fly on Disney+. At 8, we have Twisters. 7, Argyle. At 6, we have Bad Boys Ride or Die. At 5, we have Carry On Netflix. 4, we have Saturday Night. 3, we have Transformers 1. At 2, we have Wicked. And at 1, we have the documentary Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix. And down in the comments, let me know what some of your favorite movies of 2024 were. But this was MovieFanZ, and if you enjoy my reviews, don't forget to consider supporting the channel by liking and subscribing. And come back next time for another review. Have a good night.